Petaluma City Schools Technology Department back with some more tips and tricks on live hybrid simultaneous instruction, where we've got some students in the classroom and some students at home, all learning together over Zoom. And one of the foundational skills that we want to show is how to use the whiteboard as a part of direct instruction, and what some of the best tips and tricks are to get that to be so it's visible to the students at home on Zoom and students in the classroom. So I've got my laptop just set up on a desk at the front of the room. So you could set the laptop up on a stool, or we've got some different standing instructional carts that have been distributed throughout the district. And so there's different options there, but just some sort of surface for the front of the room. It's just my standard webcam. And then in order to ensure that the students are going to be able to best see what's being written on the board, we recommend using a full-size dark marker. Black is probably the best way to go. If you use something lighter like green, it won't show as well. And also in the Zoom meeting, it's important to spotlight yourself as the instructor, so that the students at home can only see your screen and are forced to see you instead of seeing the gallery view, which if they just see your square with all of the other squares, it's not going to be large enough for them to see what you're writing on the whiteboard. So to do that, I'm going to click on the three dots on my square here, and I'm going to select spotlight for everyone. And so now I'm spotlit, and I'm going to just minimize the view there. I'm not going to be seeing the students on Zoom for a bit. And so this is if you're going to be doing a non-interactive direct instruction sort of lecture style. And so I've already written one thing here, circle of fifths up on the board. And these letters are about 4 to 5 inches. So they're not huge, but they're not tiny either. And so if I then proceed to begin to draw the circle of fifths is a musical concept of the way key signatures progress as you add sharps or flats in musical notation. So we start off with the key of C that has no sharps or flats. And as we move over the circle of fifths, we go to the key of G, which has 1 sharp, and we can keep going to the key of D, that will have 2 sharps. And then we go to the key of A, which has 3 sharps. And moving on down to the key of E, which has 4 sharps. So I'm going to get outside the circle here. All right, so as I'm writing that, you can see more or less what it is I'm writing on the board. It may not be as clear because of glare and other factors as it would be in person, but I think it's all in all legible. Let's jump over here to the group and see how it looks for them, for those of them who are not in the classroom. So I'm going to switch back to gallery view, and I just want to hear a couple of comments and feedback from those that are not in the classroom. So Kara, Nick, Ryan, how was that working for you?
I can see it just fine. Thank you.
Okay. What's that, Ryan? You're muted.
Looks good.
Okay, good. So that's something. So the keys here are using the thick black pen and you putting that camera somewhere, just, camera's about 6 feet in front of the board, and then spotlighting for everyone, the instructor view. I've got a question here. Yes, Carl?
I think that if you move the camera up more even with the board, you'll get less glare because you're getting reflection of the lights down, whereas I see no glare at all.
Okay, so Carl had suggested that if we were able to put the camera or the laptop up a little bit higher, sort of in line of sight with the board, there'd be less glare. And so that's a great point. And so you could come up with a way to do that. I just went with the the kind of the easiest path of least resistance and just put it on a tabletop for myself. But you can, experiment with different options. And I also just want to point out that as Carl raised his hand and said something in the classroom, I was able to just, say back what he said so the people at home could hear what he was saying, because we have the one microphone active at this time. And I didn't ask him to open up his mic, though we could have had him open up his mic. That just would have required me doing some adjustment on my side of the Zoom call. But yeah, thanks for the suggestion. So that's what I would call this a foundational part of the live hybrid instruction. And that's coming up with a way to do some annotation or some support of your instruction on the whiteboard, so that's visible both to the students in the classroom and who are on Zoom from their respective homes or offices, et cetera.